hopefully you enjoyed that little video, and I had a lot of fun shooting that. That was shot at a spot that I go to pretty often that's near where I live. And if you've been following along on the channel, you know that I love to go hiking and take my camera out with me and do some filming. And a lot of times I'm out there's really cool wildlife, and I always wish I had a longer lens. So I finally invested in one, and I am new to wildlife videography, and that was not the first time I've gone out, but it's the first time I've shared images with all of you. So I've been out practicing a few times, and I got some really nice shots the last time I was out, so I wanted to put that together to share with everybody. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about how I made that video, but also talk about the gear that I'm using and sort of my first impressions with this lens. So first of all, that was all shot on a tripod, and I was using the A7S3, and everything was shot in 4K, XAVC-SI, in S-Log3, which I then used the technical Sony conversion LUT and then graded it by hand. And it was all shot in a mixture of 24, 60, and 120 frames per second. So that's how I captured the images. Now, in terms of the gear, this is my first big telephoto lens, and this is kind of like a first impressions of it. I'm in no way, shape, or form ready to review this lens. I need to put a lot more hours on it, but I've been really impressed with it. So it's a 200-600 f5.6-6.3 variable aperture lens, which I just leave it at 6.3 because I'm often at 600 millimeters. Which is fine when I'm shooting wildlife. I'm generally outside and I'm shooting video, so my shutter speed's fairly low, like 1/50, 1/125, 1/250, and so it works out well for me. I'm not looking for a high shutter speed because I'm not doing photography. And overall, I like it a lot. The one negative is it's very heavy and very large, but it kind of comes with the territory with a large telephoto lens, so I'm getting used to that. I got this cover for it. This is made by a company called Roland Pro. Can't really give too much opinion about it. I just heard that it was good to cover up your white lens. It also protects it from getting banged around and stuff, which I thought was important as I'm lugging this large lens around. One thing I've been using is an ND filter. Most of you know that I like the Nisi True Color, so I had to fork over for a 95 millimeter. This is a huge front filter thread, so that's what I've been using. Instead of opting for like a matte box, I just use that. It seems to work pretty well. And I don't need more than 5 stops because of f6.3, and I'm often shooting at higher frame rates anyways. So in addition to that, I did get the 1.4 times teleconverter, which I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about teleconverters. But one thing when you're shooting video is that you really want to try to fill the frame with your subject as much as possible, and I don't want to punch in later. And I'm shooting on the A7S3, which isn't an oversampled image. I'm not shooting 8K. And so for me personally, this has worked really well. I did take this out without the teleconverter, and in some of the spots I was shooting, I couldn't get close enough to the birds. So 1.4 brings this to an 840, and then when you are in 4K 120, there's another, I think it's a 10% crop, which brings you just over 900 millimeters, which gives you a lot of reach. So this is really handy. And if I'm somewhere where I don't need it, I can just easily pop it off, throw it in my bag, and I have a 200-600, so that's great. I'm using the A7S3, and if you've been following along on the channel, I've been sort of recently talking about trying to pick up another Sony camera to complement my FX3, which I'm shooting on right now. And I was trying to decide between the A7 IV and the A7S3. Now, I pretty much only shoot video, and so I wanted the option to be able to shoot 4K 120, which is super, super nice for birds in flight and a lot of wildlife. It's really nice to be able to slow things down. And also, I just kind of like the fact that you can shoot in every 4K mode uncropped. So sometimes having a crop is handy, but that's why I got the teleconverter. But if I'm in 4K 24, 60, or 120, it's basically all the same focal length, so I find that to be really handy. I was thinking about just using the FX3, but the screen on that is terrible out in the sunlight, and I didn't really want to bring a monitor with me. I wanted to keep it pretty small. As you probably know, I like to keep things pretty compact and easy to use. So the reason I got the A7S3 is because it has an EVF. So it's on a tripod. I can just hold it up to my eye, and I can see outside. This has a really nice EVF, and it's been working out really well for me. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I know this is a little bit different of a video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing more dedicated wildlife stuff. I'm sort of experimenting with it, or maybe it'll just be a few clips here and there in other videos. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of that, what you'd like to see. I will be taking this out as much as possible. It's a whole lot of fun, and a lot of this cool wildlife is really close to me, and some amazing birds to capture. So I'll probably be doing this more often because it's a lot of fun. I will do a more extensive review on this lens when I put more time in with it, but right now I am very impressed with it, but it's very heavy. I'm trying to get used to the whole thing. Anyways, I'll leave all the gear listed down below in the first part of the description of this video if you want to check it out, and the gear that I use for everything else is listed down below. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for more information about videography, content creation, of course, really cool camera gear, make sure you subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.